There you go. So we're very happy today to have Hayley with us. Hayley hails from Eastern Quebec, Western Quebec, excuse me. I get my East and West mixed up. And thank you very much for Hayley for participating in our interviews. And we're going to start off by getting a little bit of background information for context. So I'm going to start by asking you where your parents were born.
So my mom was born in Quebec, and my dad was born in Ontario.
Okay, and where were you born?
So I was also born in Quebec, actually Gatineau specifically.
Okay, and where did you receive your education? Elementary, secondary, and any post-secondary?
So all of my education was done in the English system. So for elementary school, I attended Dr. S. McDowell here in Shawville. For secondary education, it was Pontiac High School, also here in Shawville. And then post-secondary was at John Abbott College in St. Anne de Bellevue and Bishop's University in Lennoxville.
Okay, and what is your occupation?
So I currently work in the nonprofit sector here in the region for a nonprofit organization.
And where do you live now?
I live in my hometown of Shawville, Quebec.
Very good. Thank you very much, Hayley. And we're going to get to what I like to call the meat of the matter. And these are questions concerning your experience living in Quebec today. And we'll start off by asking, what in your experience today is the best thing about living in Quebec? Oh, we're frozen. Hello? Oh, we got frozen.
Hi.
We got frozen.
Okay.
So it's okay. I'm going to let things run.
Okay.
You're good now. I'm going to ask the question again. What in your experience is the best thing about living in Quebec today?
So I would say that the best thing about living in Quebec is the diversity that we have in the province. We live among other English-speaking members of the community, the French-speaking community, and newcomers as well. Everyone has a different story, which is pretty unique.
Okay. And now a lot of people before, I'm going to preface this question by giving you some anecdotes. A lot of people have problems with the next question, and should it be asked to me, I certainly would. But I'm going to ask you to respond to the question as posed, and then you're free to elaborate on your answer in any way you see fit. So having said that, describe your relationship to Quebec in a single word.
So that is a difficult question for sure, but I would say that the one word that would describe my relationship with Quebec would be rooted. And I'm just thinking back to, the ancestors that came before me that have roots in the community for several generations, and then also just staying in the province after, studies and things like that to try to, keep this as my home. So I would say rooted. I feel strongly with that word.
Okay. And where do you feel most at home in Quebec? For example, in communities based on language, culture, profession, or geographic location?
So I would say it would be based off of geographic location. I feel most at home in my hometown of Shawville, but also in the MRC Pontiac, which is where Shawville falls. So I feel the greatest connection there, because it was where my mother's side of the family is rooted, and also where I feel most engaged.
Okay, now I'll preface the next question because a lot of people have asked me about the second part, that the official definition of Quebec. Well, they say to me, according to who? And my answer is, it's your perception of the official definition of Quebec. What you find to be the official definition of Quebec as you perceive it. For example, it could be based on the Quebec government's official definition, the Canadian government's, what the media says, but your perception of the official definition. So having said that, I'll ask the two-part question. How would you define a Quebecer, and do you think the official definition in Quebec includes you?
Okay, so I would define a Quebecer as someone who is either born here or raised here, or even somebody who now calls Quebec home. Someone who engages in the society to help better the community. That's how I would define a Quebecer. And yes, I do feel that I am a part of that definition as well, because I was born and raised here, and my family has. Oh, sorry, I'm going to start this part over again, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll go to the second part of that question. Got a little bit stumbled there a little bit. So yes, I would say that the official definition of Quebec includes me, as I was born and raised in the province, and my family has been here for several generations. I do feel that I have a strong connection to the province, and I'm proud to call this place my home.
Okay. Now, has your sense of identity as a Quebecer changed over the years? And if so, in what ways?
Yes, I would say that my sense of identity has changed over time. I think that as you move past certain milestones, or perhaps a change of environment, it has an impact on how you on your sense of identity. So just for example, I decided to pursue my post-secondary studies in some different regions of Quebec. And after completing those studies, I decided to move back home, as it was a place that I've always felt a strong attachment to. My time away helped me, I guess, realize how much I wanted to return to my roots and start my adult life there. So some of the experiences that I had while I was away for my studies helped me realize that I do belong here, and I'd like to bring the skills that I learned back to the community that has already given me so much. And I also grew a greater awareness and appreciation for the English-speaking community in the province as well, after realizing that we do have so much in common in our different communities across the province, whether they be a small community or a large community, and certainly that we're very resilient as a community as well.
Okay. And what, in your experience, are some of the most difficult things about living in Quebec?
So I would say that one of the most challenging things about living in Quebec is accessing free or affordable French second language training. It's something that I and many others have experienced difficulties with. I do see that it's very important to have a strong capacity in both languages, because it does provide a sense of security as well. And I think that, in order to improve your language skills, it's necessary to seek some support in a well-structured and supportive setting to be able to be comfortable to learn in and make mistakes. And so then you can take that out into a public setting and try to, be a little bit more confident in the way that you're interacting with others, or, placing an order at a coffee shop or something like that. So you just need to instill a little bit more confidence in people and support, and then you'll be able to get by and, increase your capacity in your second language.
Okay.
But anyway, that does seem to be kind of an area that a lot of us are struggling in, and it just needs a little bit more work.
Okay. So then, what is the biggest problem facing Quebec, and how, in your mind, do you think it could be resolved?
So I guess I'll turn the tables a little bit. I would say that the biggest opportunity facing Quebec would just be to find more ways to bring together different cultures and different communities, so that we have more occasions to learn from these individuals and learn about our neighbors a little bit more, and see see the beauty of what we call Quebec, because it's comprised of so many different people and communities and backgrounds. And I think we just need a little bit more of a chance to get to learn about others. And yeah.
Okay. Now, the next question, I'm going to preface that too. I believe I sent you the link to Guy Rogers' film, What We Choose to
Yes,
Remember. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see that or not.
I did. Yes.
Okay. Well, in that film, he used a visual tool, which I'm going to use in the next question, which was very visually effective. And I use this with his permission. In fact, Guy helped me formulate this question, so I have no problem asking it the way it is. So having said all of that, I'd like you to indicate by a show of fingers on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being weakest, 10 being strongest, how strongly do you feel that the joys of living in Quebec outweigh the challenges? Excellent. Thank you, Hayley. And I'm going to give you one last opportunity to talk about anything you'd like to talk about regarding your sense of identity or belonging in Quebec.
I would just say that something to consider, you know, when you're looking at your own sense of identity, or the way that the way in which you belong to the province. I think you need to take a step back and just actually, sorry, no, sorry, Dave, I'm not sure. I had an idea and then I kind of lost it. So
take your time.
Let me see.
Take your time. There's no rush here.
Actually, I think I've lost it at the moment. So I don't have anything else to add at this time. Sorry about that.
No. There's no sorry needed. That's
Okay.
fine. And thank you very much, Hayley, for contributing today. We really appreciate it. I'm going to turn off the recording now, and
Sure.
That way we could have a further discussion if you think it's warranted. So